The psychological tricks companies use to make you buy things you don't need. Right now, as you're watching this video, there are teams of psychologists, neuroscientists, and behavioral economists working around the clock with one goal: to separate you from your money, and they're winning. Americans spend over $400 billion annually on impulse purchases alone. That's more than the entire GDP of most countries. But here's what should terrify you. These aren't accidents. Every single purchase you didn't plan, every subscription you forgot about, every limited time offer you couldn't resist, they were engineered. What I'm about to reveal will fundamentally change how you see every website, app, and advertisement. These companies aren't just selling products, they're rewiring your brain's decision-making process. And the most disturbing part, most of it happens below the threshold of your conscious awareness. If you're ready to discover the uncomfortable truth about how your mind is being manipulated every single day, hit that subscribe button, because what you're about to learn might just save you thousands of dollars and your sanity. Fair warning, this video will make you question every purchase decision you've made in the past year. You might never look at online shopping the same way again. Ethical disclaimer. This content exposes real psychological manipulation tactics for educational purposes only. The goal is to help viewers make more conscious consumer decisions, not to encourage distrust of all businesses. Many companies use these techniques ethically, but awareness helps distinguish between legitimate persuasion and manipulation. The scarcity illusion, manufacturing urgency. Let's start with the most insidious trick of all: manufactured scarcity. Right now, somewhere online, there's a countdown timer creating artificial urgency for a product that's probably sitting in a warehouse with thousands of identical items. Here's the psychological foundation. Scarcity triggers are among the most powerful psychological weapons in marketing. When our brain perceives something as rare or running out, it triggers an ancient survival mechanism that bypasses rational thinking entirely. Amazon didn't pioneer this accidentally. There are only 2 left in stock. It's messages that can increase purchase likelihood by up to 300%. But here's what they don't tell you. These numbers are often completely fabricated or based on arbitrary warehouse locations, not actual scarcity. The shocking truth about limited time offers, flash sales that repeat monthly with the same savings, countdown timers that reset when they hit 0, while supplies last for digital products with infinite inventory, 24-hour only deals that somehow last for weeks. Research shows that when people believe something is scarce, they'll pay up to 50% more for identical items. Your rational brain knows that iPhone isn't actually the last one. But your emotional brain doesn't care about logic when it thinks something valuable might slip away. The most disturbing part: companies A/B test these tactics constantly. They know exactly how many fake people are viewing this item right now, and messages they need to show to maximize your likelihood of buying. You're not a customer. You're a data point in their psychological experiment. The anchoring trap, rigging your reference point. Here's a question that will haunt you. How do you know if you're getting a good deal? The answer is terrifying. You don't. Companies have hijacked your ability to judge value through a technique called price anchoring. Manipulation tactics in consumer behavior involve strategic techniques aimed at creating a desire to purchase through psychological triggers and persuasive language. Anchoring exploits a fundamental flaw in human cognition. We judge value relative to the first number we see, not absolute worth. The anchoring playbook. 1. Inflated original prices. That $200 jacket marked down to $79. It was never sold at $200. The company created that high anchor just to make $79 seem reasonable. 2. Decoy products. Ever notice how movie theaters offer 3 sizes of popcorn? Okay. And the medium seems ridiculously close to the large price. That medium exists solely to make the large look like a smart choice. 3. Bundle anchoring. Software companies show you the $500 month enterprise plan first. So the $50 month plan feels like pocket change. Here's what's happening in your brain. When you see that first high price, it literally rewires your perception of value. Even if you consciously know it's manipulation, your subconscious has already accepted the anchor. You think you're being rational, but you're actually comparing against a completely artificial reference point. The Federal Trade Commission has found that many retailers use fake original prices at which the item was never actually sold. JCPenney got caught doing this systematically. Their sales were actually their regular prices. And their regular prices were fictional anchors designed to deceive customers. The most disturbing research finding: anchoring effects can last for weeks. That inflated price you saw on Tuesday is still influencing your purchase decisions the following Monday. Even for completely unrelated products. The commitment escalation ladder. Companies have discovered how to turn you into your own worst enemy through something called commitment escalation. They don't start by asking you to buy. They start by getting you to say yes to tiny things. And each yes makes the next one inevitable. The psychological foundation. Once you commit to something, especially if you write it down or say it out loud, your brain will go to extraordinary lengths to remain consistent with that commitment, even when it's no longer in your best interest. The commitment ladder in action. Step 1. Just enter your email for 10% off. Small commitment. Step 2. Create a free account to save your cart identity commitment. Step 3. Start your free trial. Cancel anytime. Behavioral commitment. Step 4. Just add a payment method for faster checkout. Financial commitment. Step 5. Upgrade to premium. First month, 50% off escalated financial commitment. Each step seems reasonable in isolation, but they're designed as a psychological trap. Marketing manipulation focuses on eliciting extreme emotional responses and can have profound and sometimes detrimental psychological effects. By the time you realize you're paying $29.99 a month for something you barely use, you've already psychologically committed to being the type of person who uses this service. The subscription trap. This is why free trials require credit cards. It's not about payment processing. It's about commitment escalation. The moment you enter that card number, your brain shifts from trying something free to "I'm a customer of this service." Spotify, mastered this. Free account gives personalized playlists, gives social sharing, gives premium trial, gives full subscription. Each step makes you more invested in the Spotify identity. You're not just using a music service, you're a Spotify person, with curated playlists and music memories tied to the platform. The most insidious part. Once you've climbed the commitment ladder, your brain actively resists admitting the purchase was unnecessary. You'll rationalize keeping subscriptions you don't use because canceling feels like admitting you made a mistake. Dark patterns. The digital manipulation playbook. What I'm about to show you is so disturbing that the European Union has started banning these practices. They're called dark patterns. Deceptive user interface. Designs deliberately crafted to manipulate users into making decisions that may not be in their best interest and undermine user autonomy. These aren't accidents or poor design choices. They're carefully engineered psychological weapons, tested and refined to exploit specific weaknesses in human decision-making. Dark pattern number 1. The Roach Motel, making it incredibly easy to sign up but nearly impossible to cancel. Amazon Prime is the master of this. One-click sign-up, but canceling requires navigating through multiple screens designed to confuse and frustrate you into giving up. Dark pattern number 2. Hidden costs. That flight ticket priced at $99 somehow becomes $179 at checkout with convenience fees, processing charges, and taxes that were never mentioned. Your brain has already committed to the purchase by the time these costs appear. Dark pattern number 3. Forced continuity. Those pre-checked boxes for newsletter subscriptions, insurance, or premium services. By law, these should be opt-in, but companies bury them in walls of text, knowing you'll miss them. Dark pattern number 4. Confirm shamming. No thanks. I don't want to save money. As the decline button, they're literally programming shame into your purchase decision. Your only options are to buy or admit you're foolish. Dark pattern number 5. Fake social proof. Sarah from Michigan just bought this. But Sarah doesn't exist, or that purchase happened months ago. Dark patterns are user interfaces that benefit an online service by leading consumers to make irrational decisions they might not otherwise make. Dark pattern number 6. Misdirection, making the accept all cookies button bright and prominent while hiding the reject all option in tiny gray text. Your eye naturally goes to the highlighted option, bypassing conscious choice. The research is chilling. These design strategies manipulate user behavior to achieve business objectives, often at the expense of user satisfaction. And they're becoming more sophisticated as companies collect more data about what makes people click. The dopamine slot machine addiction by design. Your smartphone isn't a communication device. It's a portable casino designed to hack your brain's reward system. And the companies behind your favorite apps have literally hired the same psychologists who design gambling machines. The neuroscience of digital addiction. Every notification, every like, every red badge on your apps triggers a dopamine release identical to what happens when gambling addicts pull a slot machine lever. This isn't metaphorical. It's measurably the same brain response. Variable reward schedules. the most addictive reward pattern known to psychology. Sometimes you get rewarded, sometimes you don't, but you never know when. This is why you compulsively check your phone even when you know there's nothing new. How apps hook you. Instagram. Variable rewards through likes, comments, and stories. You never know what you'll find when you open the app, so your brain treats each opening like a lottery ticket. Shopping apps. Spin to win wheels, random discounts, surprise sales notifications. They've turned purchasing into gambling. Email marketing. You have a surprise waiting. Subject lines that trigger curiosity and FOMO simultaneously. The attention harvesting machine. Your attention isn't just valuable, it's the product being sold. Techniques like reciprocity, authority endorsements, and loyalty programs tap into natural human responses. But they've been weaponized through data collection and behavioral targeting. Companies track how long you look at each item, where your cursor hovers, when you pause scrolling, which emotions your photos suggest you're feeling when you're most vulnerable to spending. This data creates a psychological profile used to manipulate you individually. The app knows you're more likely to buy when you're stressed, lonely, or late at night. It knows your trigger words, your price sensitivity, your decision-making patterns. Social proof weaponization. Your friends bought this. People like you also purchased. You're the only one in your network who hasn't tried this. They're turning your social connections into purchase pressure. The reciprocity weapon guilt by generosity. Here's a manipulation tactic so powerful it can override your rational thinking entirely. Weaponized generosity. Companies give you something free, and your brain immediately calculates a debt that must be repaid. The psychology of reciprocity. Humans have a deep psychological need to balance social debts. This evolved as a survival mechanism. Reciprocity built the cooperation that allowed our species to thrive. But marketers have turned this survival instinct against us. The reciprocity playbook. Free samples. Costco doesn't offer samples to be nice. They increase purchase likelihood by 2,000%. Once you've accepted something free, your brain feels obligated to reciprocate. Free shipping? Amazon Prime's free shipping isn't free. You paid $139 for it, but calling it free triggers reciprocity bias, making you feel like Amazon is giving you something. Birthday discounts. That's special. Birthday offer isn't generosity. It's a calculated manipulation of your emotional vulnerability and sense of reciprocal obligation. The shocking research. People who receive a free gift, even something they didn't ask for and don't want, are up to 500% more likely to make a purchase. Your rational brain knows that companies aren't your friends, but your emotional brain doesn't distinguish between corporate generosity and human kindness. Reciprocity escalation. First, they give you something small and free. Then they ask for something small and return your email. Then something bigger, a social media follow. Then they ask for money, but by now, you feel like you owe them. Parasocial reciprocity. Brands create the illusion of personal relationships through personalized emails, birthday messages, and exclusive member benefits. You start to feel like the company cares about you personally, creating emotional debt that demands financial reciprocation. The loss aversion trap. Here's the final psychological weapon that might be the most powerful of all: loss aversion. Your brain fears losing something you already have twice as much as it desires gaining something new. Companies have learned to exploit this fear ruthlessly. The science: loss aversion is hardwired into human psychology. Our ancestors, who were more afraid of losing a meal than excited about finding a new one, were more likely to survive. But this survival mechanism makes us vulnerable to sophisticated manipulation, loss aversion tactics. You're about to lose your cart. It's creating artificial loss around items you haven't even purchased yet. Expiring points, credits, making you spend to avoid losing rewards that cost the company nothing to give. Final sale pressure, making you feel like you're losing an opportunity rather than spending money. Account credits, store credit expires, creating urgency to spend money you've already given them. The subscription trap revisited. You'll lose access to all your playlists, photos, documents if you cancel. They're holding your own data hostage to prevent you from making rational financial decisions. The endowment effect. Once you feel like you own something, even temporarily through free trials or virtual ownership, losing it feels like a real loss. Companies give you temporary ownership specifically to trigger this bias. Netflix mastered this. Continue watching where you left off. Your shows are waiting. Don't lose your viewing history. They make canceling feel like losing years of entertainment memories, not just stopping a monthly payment. FOMO weaponization. This offer expires at midnight, creates artificial loss. You're not excited about gaining a discount. You're terrified of losing an opportunity that may never exist again. Now you know the truth. Every website, every app, every advertisement is a carefully constructed, psychological battlefield designed to bypass your rational thinking and extract your money. We've exposed manufactured scarcity that creates false urgency. Price anchoring that rigs your perception of value. Commitment escalation that turns small yeses into big purchases. Dark patterns that manipulate through design. Dopamine manipulation that creates digital addiction. Weaponized reciprocity that exploits human kindness. Loss aversion, traps that make you fear missing out. Your defense strategy. 1. The 24-hour rule. Never buy anything immediately. Wait at least 24 hours for purchases over $50. 2. Question every emotion. If you feel urgent, excited, or fearful about a purchase, that's manipulation talking. 3. Ignore all timers. Genuine scarcity doesn't need countdown clocks. 4. Research actual prices. Use tools like Camel to see real price history. 5. Audit your subscriptions monthly. Companies count on you forgetting about recurring charges. The most important thing to remember: awareness is your superpower. Once you recognize these tactics, they lose most of their influence over you. You can't unsee what you now know. If this video opened your eyes to how your mind is being manipulated every day, hit that like button. Subscribe for more uncomfortable truths about the modern economy. And share this with someone who needs to know. Drop a comment below. What's the most shocking manipulation tactic you've fallen for? Let's help each other stay aware and make truly conscious purchasing decisions. Remember, these companies spend billions studying your psychology. The moment you let your guard down, they'll find new ways to separate you from your money. Stay vigilant, stay conscious, and never forget, you are not the customer. You are the product being sold.